Hey guys, it's Nate. I'm going to teach you a little bit about Nearpod today. I'm going to try my best to keep this under 8 minutes. I think Nearpod's an awesome program. I use it daily in my classroom, so I could go on and on about this. But I'll just kind of give you a little background information. If you want more, you can just comment, and then we can reach out and I can teach you a little more about it if you're interested as well. If you go to nearpod.com, it's going to take you to a home screen. So you can sign up for a free account as a teacher, or if you could get it through your school or your district. I have our school district. I teach fourth grade in the school district of Lancaster, so we have it in our district. So I'll have a little more features than the free version. Little background knowledge on it. It's an interactive slideshow. That's the way I like to describe it. So you're sharing your slides or your information or your content with your kids, and then or your students, and then they're able to actually interact with the slides and respond to different things on Nearpod. There's pre-made lessons that you could use. I typically create my own just so it's aligned with the content that I'm teaching specifically. I'll show you a bunch of the different features as we go. I really like it as a synchronous tool just because we can work on it together as a class. Everybody's on the same spot and keep moving. But there's major benefits to it being asynchronous as well. You can do draw out activities. You can do open-ended questions. You can have your students respond to quizzes or different polls. I use this as like a self-assessment tool. Collaboration boards. Collaboration boards are awesome. I'll show you one of the ones that my students have done. Virtual field trips. You can take your kids on field trips to just about anywhere. Fill in the blank assignments, and then matching pairs. I like to use this for vocabulary. I mean, it looks like that's what they're using it for as well. If you scroll down to the bottom, in the bottom left there's pricing. So the silver version is free. The gold version is $120 a year. Platinum would be $349 a year, and then through your school or district, you would get a quote. It's already integrated with some learning management systems. So Canvas, Schoology, it's Learning, Blackboard, and Google Classroom. Our district uses Schoology, and we have the app, or I have the app downloaded onto Schoology. So when I post assignments on Schoology or discussion boards, I'll put the Nearpod there. The only thing the kids will need is the code, and they'll be able to work through it. There's communities and resources, so you can do like PDs through Nearpod, which are actually pretty cool. So let's actually look at my account here. When I log in, here's all the folders of the different assignments I have. Digital citizenship, these are some of the Nearpod pre-created ones that I just downloaded, so I didn't make my own. But then I'll take you to our ELA one that we're using this week. So I'm currently doing a live lesson so that it's synchronous. All the kids have their iPads in front of them, they're signed in, but I'm still controlling their screen and controlling the content, but they're the ones that are responding. So they'll sign into their Nearpod with the code, and then when they sign in, it's going to take them to whatever slide that I'm on. So I'll just take you to the front here. I embedded a website that the kids can scroll through. This is a story that we're working with. There's a video in there, vocabulary, slides, just something a little bit to interact with. And then we'll just talk about it with each other quickly. Then they'll go on a virtual field trip. When they're on the field trip, because we're in a face-to-face setting, they're able to talk to one another. But as they're walking, or as they're going on their field trip, as they're walking through, they're actually talking about their observations and everything that they can see. You can embed slideshows into it. So here's our vocabulary slides that we put into it. When you get to this screen, the kids will have access to moving through the different slides. They just won't be able to move to the next portion of the Nearpod, but they can see the different slides from your Google Slides here. Cool feature is the poll. So this adds to a little bit of the classroom community and cohesion. So the kids had to assess themselves based on where they currently think that they are. So as you can see, a lot of them said that they think they're twos. and then I can hit share out. And when I share this out, this pie chart with the responses is going to get sent to all of their screens. So we'll actually have an opportunity to talk about their self rating and how they like compare to their classmates, which is cool. So we go through, we have our TDA prompt here, but I'll put the TDA prompt in a draw it activity. So as you can see, they marked up their prompt. They're underlining it, circling words that they need help clarifying what it means. If I want to look at this here and discuss this with the class, I can hit share. And when I hit share, now this screen right here is on all of their screens. They're not able to move from it. So we'll be able to say, all right, what did this classmate like? Do you agree with what they circled? Do you agree with what they marked up in the prompt? I can hit unshare, go to another prompt, hit share, and then we'll talk about that one. So it's a cool way to hold all of your kids accountable for their work, but then we can actually talk about the work orally too. So then there's a video here. For videos, I typically do this device only. All devices gets messy and then our internet connection kind of falls apart. But we'll share the video with the kids, talk about it verbally again. Another draw it activity. When they go to actually answer their responses, so as you can see, we haven't gotten here yet, they'll go and type in their final response. And then once they type it in, I can't click on it just because there's nothing there yet. But I can click on it. It's going to show up large on my screen. And then I can hit in that top right again, share. Then it goes to their screens. And that's where we center our ELA conversations around. So did your classmate include the correct evidence? Did they provide an explanation of how the evidence supports their answer? And we'll actually grade each other's writing using our own iPads and talking about it on the spot. You can't talk through Nearpod, so you're going to need a different learning management system if you want to verbally communicate with each other. But as far as sharing everything goes, it's pretty cool. Here's vocabulary matching activity. I don't want to start it because once I start it, I don't think the kids have access to doing it again. A collaboration board. So the question is, what are the 5 main text structures? So I might say, Mr. Miller is doing his college work. I'll post it to the screen there, and then when the kids sign in, they're actually going to see this. So they're going to know that I was showing off their Nearpod to our class. But as they respond, they'll say, like, the sticky notes will show up more and more here, and then they can actually go through and like one another's responses. So it's just an easy way to form a sense of community and kind of like assess yourself. Do my classmates agree with my post, or am I really far off? I think that promotes that effective association and community cohesion. Keep moving through here. Time to Climb's cool. It's similar to Kahoot, so the kids will get questions that they'll have to ask. Again, I don't want to start this so that we don't lose it, but they'll get questions that they have to ask and answer, and the faster they answer, the more that they get right. They climb up a mountain, and then it compares them to their classmates, like as far as climbing up the mountain. And again, I'll hide the student names here so that they can't see who's who. They just know where they're at. And then they'll end with another poll. We'll share it out, discuss where we're at as a class and where we need to move going forward. So in summary, I mean, I think this is a great synchronous tool. Every single one of my kids is engaged every day using it just because of how interactive it is and how it's so easy to hold them accountable for their work. They're able to brainstorm easily using the collaboration boards. I embedded that web page that I showed you guys. I think that connects to the shared resources. As far as like the reflections go, such as here, I think this is an easy way to reflect and kind of compare yourself and discuss with your classmates. I mean, we have a sense of community in my room where we're all in support of one another. It's not a competition about where we're at. We all want to collectively get to a 4 rating. And then you have like the game based activity through Time to Climb. But one thing that we noticed, what am I doing here? one thing that we noticed works really well is when they're answering the responses, it provides us with that demonstration of mastery. So they're giving her open-ended responses, but then we're actually grading them and discussing them as a class. So the kids are being held accountable. They're able to share out their response. So they're able to see it, talk about it with their classmates. Again, you would need a learning management system that you're able to speak with each other about it, just because you can't through Nearpod. But that's one of my favorite features about it, and just being able to share the responses very quick, and then I get them all in one place here. As far as an asynchronous tool, I think it's also very beneficial in that sense. So I use asynchronous in math. So I'll have a couple of my students, they're ahead. Like if I know that they're okay with subtracting numbers and they don't need to share with me, I might set up a student paced Nearpod. So they'll type in this code. They'll have access to doing all of the activities and doing the collaboration boards and doing the draw it assignments and the open-ended questions, but they get to work at their own pace. So they actually have control of moving through the Nearpod at their own pace, but all of the work is still collectively being sent to me and sent to each other there. So like the collaboration board, as the kids move through it, they'll see each other's posts. In order to use it asynchronous from an asynchronous standpoint, I'll embed it into Schoology. And kids will work through their self-paced Nearpod, and then I attach a discussion board to it just because there's no discussion board feature through Nearpod. And then looking at the social presence of the program or of Nearpod and Learning Management System, effective association and community cohesion, because I use it in a face-to-face setting, we're able to talk about the assignments and the work together a lot. So we can kind of break it down, share it with each other. As long as you have some kind of system where you're able to speak to each other, I think it's really easy there. But I think the kids, they buy into the idea of talking about their work and talking about each other's work. Interaction intensity. So the kids are holding each other accountable on it because we're able to talk about it, because it's getting shared out to each other. They want to make sure they're in the right place with it. Here's a kind of backtracking, but here's a collaboration board where my students already responded. So you can see they all posted their different questions after they took a field trip, and then they went through and they liked each other. This also added to that effective association and community cohesion. Knowledge and experience. I love using this tool to activate prior knowledge. It's very quick. They have a limited number of characters. You can't use more than 250 characters. They can embed a picture on there if they want to, but it just gets them thinking a little bit. And then as far as instructor involvement, from a teacher standpoint, you're going to put in a lot of work ahead of the lesson. But once you're actually teaching the lesson, you're literally just clicking through and leading a discussion. The kids are producing the work. The kids are the ones that are doing everything. So it makes your life during the school day way easier. And I mean, every one of your student is effectively responding. Here's one of the open-ended responses. So I might hit share here. Then it goes to all of their screens and we can talk about it that way. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I need to cover with you guys or that I really need to show off. Like I said, I could talk about this forever. I use it all throughout my day. So if you want more information, or if you want help, or if you just want me to share one of the lessons with you so that you can try it in your classroom, I don't mind doing that. If you just want to comment on there, I'll get back to you. We'll set up some kind of form of sending it over. I can send it to you via email or anything. So like I said, if you need anything or want extra help in the Nearpod, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening.